What is up, YouTube? Doodle Boy here, and I am doing a Doodle review on the new movie Crawl. Now, Crawl was very hard for me to put an actual rating on. On one hand, the special effects were pretty damn good as far as the hurricane goes, and the water level rising throughout the house when they did close-ups on the characters' faces as they were submerged neck level in water in the middle of a two-story house. It looked real. The furniture floating all around the house, it looked really good. The alligators looked like fucking alligators. I don't know what else to say about that. But the execution of the overall plot was just a failure to me. When I saw the trailer, I was under the impression that much more of this movie would take place outside. But once I watched the movie, I found out the reason it's called Crawl is because the main character and her dad crawl around underneath the house in the mud for an hour. Now, let me remind you that this movie is only an hour and a half long. So for an entire hour of it to just be this girl and her dad wallowing around in the mud away from alligators while they're bleeding, it's just fucking gross, and it was boring. So the movie starts off with our main character, Haley, and she is at swimming practice for a competitive team, I'm assuming, and I think it's probably for college. She mentions something about her scholarship somewhere in the movie. And in the locker room, after she's done with practice, the TV's showing that a hurricane has taken an unsuspected turn towards where she is living, and they're gonna get hit by a Category 5 hurricane head on. When I heard that this movie takes place in Florida, I was not surprised. I mean, this is just the sort of batshit crazy things that you would expect to happen in Florida. Florida is just like a magnet for batshit crazy. Now, on her way to find her dad, she picks up the family dog, Sugar. Now, Sugar is a disgusting rat dog. I mean, this dog is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. No, but seriously, I mean, the dog's fine, but the second I saw this little rat dog, I thought to myself, okay, that dog gonna die. That dog is not making it out of this fucking movie alive. I swear to God, I'm gonna see that dog get the shit eaten out of him by an alligator by the end of this movie. So Haley and Sugar the rat dog make their way to the family house and end up finding her father unconscious in the basement, which is more like a crawl space. There's no floor to the basement, it's just mud. The walls of the basement are, directly facing outside. They're not actually underground. The basement walls themselves have holes in them. So I live in the South. I will not mention where, but I would assume that in Florida, you would not want to build a house with a basement, or even a house with a crawl space that has decorative holes in the skirting. That's just asking for the house to be completely flooded underneath. So when she finds her dad underneath the house, unconscious, with a broken-ass leg, she tries to get him out. She's dragging him through the mud. Underneath the house, it is not tall enough for them to stand up. The highest they can stand up is in a ducking position, so they are literally crawling throughout most of the movie. And right as she gets him to the stairs to get out of this weird crawl space, the alligator makes his big appearance and busts through the staircase, just sending wood flying everywhere, and this thing is fucking huge. Eventually, her dad does wake up, and the next hour of this movie is them hiding behind piping that the alligator is too big to get past, having bonding father and daughter conversations and moments. It is raining so hard from this hurricane that the water level is slowly rising underneath the house. Not only is the movie about getting away from the alligators, but it's also about fighting the clock because the water level is rising and eventually they're going to drown. The setup was good. That makes for a very suspenseful movie, fighting the clock, running away from giant alligators, but the execution was not there. One part out of this hour-long section of the movie that was actually hilarious was a part where she's peering through one of the holes in the wall of the basement and she can see outside. And she sees that the water level has gotten extremely high. So high that these rednecks come on a boat and they're able to just boat right through the water up to this gas station. And they go and break into the gas station and they're trying to steal an ATM machine. They start hauling this giant ATM machine out of the gas station or whatever. And of course, an alligator pops out of nowhere and just tears them to shreds. I mean, this alligator completely fucks these guys up. During this under the house section of the movie that takes up the majority of the film, the entire time there's like happy classic rock playing through a portable radio that's been left somewhere in the crawl space. I guess the dad was listening to it when he was doing work on the pipes before he was originally attacked by the alligator. So the entire hour chunk of this film where they're crawling for their lives away from a gator as the water level's rising, you just hear this happy classic rock playing in the background the entire time from the radio. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, eventually, Haley does find a way out of the basement. Now, the finale of this movie pretty much never really happens as a finale. I mean, I guess you could say it starts once the levees break and the water washes them back into the house and they make their way up to the second floor. But that only takes a solid 5 or 10 minutes before they make their way to the roof and a helicopter comes with a spotlight. And right as the helicopter finds them with the spotlight, the movie just ends. It just cuts to black. That's the fucking end. That's it. And the dog never dies. The dog made it to the roof with them, completely fine. You can't set up a cute, tiny rat dog in a movie about killer alligators and not have the fucking dog get eaten. So the ending was disappointing. The main bulk of the movie underneath the house was not executed right. The only thing good about this movie was the hurricane special effects. Thank you for watching this doodle review on the new movie Crawl. I gave this film a 5 out of 10. If you could just like, comment, and subscribe, I'll see you guys later. That dog gonna die.